Holy shit, there are a lot of you. I told myself I wasn't going to start this off with a cheap laugh or a round of applause. So with that being said, make some noise if you have a shitty job. That's what I thought. So the ratio of good jobs to bad jobs out there is just way, way off. Like for instance, I think the best job in the world probably exists in the NFL, which means there are only 32 of this job in the entire world. That's right, you guessed it, it's the get back coach. So for those of you that don't know, a get back coach's only job is to keep the coach from getting excited and running onto the field. You mean to tell me that I can make 6 figures and all I have to do is keep Andy Reid's fat ass from getting to the 50-yard line? That guy uses a Denny's menu as his play calling sheet. He takes 3 steps and he's winded. That job does itself. Sign me the fuck up. I've been thinking about hiring my own get back coach for my life though. I think the world would be a better place with more than 32 get back coaches in it. Like think about it, we've all been on Amazon and you're like, oh shit, do I need a grappling hook? Get that coach. You've been at the bar and you're drunk and you're like, everybody gets around on me. Get that coach. Saturday night you're at the strip club with the boys, the stripper's trying to get you to go in the VIP room for a $100 lap dance. You've had a rough week, you've earned it. When I wrote this joke, I realized that I'm a get back coach. I just don't get paid for it, which I guess makes me a get back intern. I've been a get back intern for the past 2 years since I married my wife. You fellas know, see, only the guys laughed at that one. You know the feeling. You go into Target and she whips out the red card, get back coach. She wants to go to the animal shelter just to look, get back coach. She wants to plan an elaborate and inevitably expensive girls getaway weekend with all my guys' friends' wives, thus leaving us alone and unsupervised. You've had a tough week. You deserve it. I've had my fair share of shitty jobs. My dad got me my first shitty job right before he Jedi mind tricked me into going to college. You see, I didn't want to go to college, but I was afraid to tell my dad. So one day I worked up the courage and I went downstairs in the living room and I said, Dad, I'm not going to college and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. And then I did this. And when nothing smashed against the wall behind me, my plan was shot to shit because I imagined it all in my head and there was screaming and arguing and fighting. And he didn't even look up from what he was doing. He said, okay, then we'll just have to get you a job. Oh, and he got me a job. He got me a job at his friend's shoe store. And this wasn't a nice shoe store. This was the type of shoe store that sold shoes to teachers. Some of you guys must be teachers. But for the rest of you, that means I was living below the poverty line, selling shoes to people living slightly above the poverty line. And one day, I was a couple months in, and I was thinking about how the events of my life had led me to this point, and my manager said something so offensive to me that I had to quit on the spot. You know what he said to me? He said, you're fired. I said, fuck you, I'm going to school. Which is what my dad wanted the whole time, right? He thought he won, but in the end, I got the upper hand. Because I got an English degree. Which is more useless than not having a degree at all. Which led to more shitty jobs. So now I work with restaurants. And the last restaurant I worked with, the entire staff was made up of second chance employment, which for those of you that don't know means that they're all felons. And I'm all for second chance employment, just maybe not the entire fucking staff. But, you know, I held out hope. I was like, I can help them. I can relate to them. But it didn't dawn on me the mess that I was in until I walked into the kitchen and saw the prep cook trying to cut up a steak with a sharpened toothbrush. Or the waitress tried to pay for her lunch in loose cigarettes. And I was like, oh shit. But I was not deterred. I came up with a plan. See, they all had nicknames for each other. They used to call each other things like Menace and Street Dog. And I was like, if I can just get in with them, then I can get a nickname. I'll be part of the crew. So a couple weeks went by and I worked to gain their trust. And finally they started calling me things like, get out of my kitchen, astronaut head looking ass. Don't tell me what to do before I stab you. And that's when I knew I made it. So for those of you that have worked in a restaurant before, you've been in that awkward, may I please speak it to the manager situation, whether you were the employee or maybe you were the manager yourself, or your name's Karen and you were asking for the manager. One day, somebody came up to me and he said, hey, I need to speak to your dishwasher. And my brain short-circuited and I was like, I'm the manager, how can I help you? And he said, no, I need to speak with your dishwasher, John. Is he here? And I said, yeah, John's here, what's up? He says, my name's Officer Carter, John has a warrant for his arrest for violating his parole. I need to speak to John. And I said, okay, officer, and I turned into the back and I started to walk towards the kitchen, and then I heard a little voice in the back of my head go, get back, coach. And that's when I realized it was Saturday night during dinner rush and this motherfucker was trying to take my dishwasher. So I was in a really awkward situation because part of me was like, I can't obstruct the law. I need to uphold the long arm of justice. And at the other hand, I was like, this motherfucker's trying to take my dishwasher during Saturday at dinner rush. So I did the right thing, and I did what every normal person would do, and I snuck John out the back door. Thank you, guys.